mighty Hebrew Israelite sovereign nationalism all over the four corners of the earth. Nothing can stop us but ourselves. All the 12 tribes of Israel, all over the four corners of the earth. No matter where you at, it's the mighty Hebrew Bible minister Landin. When I meet Martazor Yambain Yasha Allah Senior, it's like this. The pioneers risen from hell's kitchen. Our nemesis is now finished. New order world's here. No fear, calm spirit, bomb the wicked. Hebrew Israelite sovereign nationals risen. Heavy mental, break metal from the devil. We never run. Tougher than leather, Yisrael, no more skeletons. The dry bones rising, Kakma, conscious one with Yahweh, breaking iron, Roman Empire. The Cyclops watch as iron shine with talismans of fire. We out fix MacGyver, Eshatan, bow to Yasha Allah, calling the nation son of Ahayim. We be Sire, I'm a tiger, Brendan Lee, rapid fire, we bomb lies. Which rolls his arms and remain calm like Khan in swamps Vietnam. The mighty Hebrew never take flight like a BMX bike. Only fight Gentiles, remain honor. Our Father, Hebrew Israelites, sovereign nationalism rising all over the planet Earth. Nothing can stop us. We cover once. Hallelujah. Who can stop us? No one. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom, shalom. So you live right now, MOREH. You right now live and direct, but not live per se. But just a quick recap where you left off, MOREH YIRME'YAH, about we was talking about the Bantu expansion, because lately we've been having some real deep discussions and manifesting a lot of PowerPoint presentations dealing with this subject matter and this topic. And you got a lot of people basically saying now, when they take their DNA test, they might see that they go back to the sub-Saharan African. Like myself, I went to African ancestry. Then my DNA, it came back at E1B1A/EM2. So, which they saying I'm of Igbo origin. Give me a brief synopsis of the Bantu expansion and how it's interrelated to the nation of Israel.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for the opportunity for me to even kind of give that explanation of it. When it deals with the Bantu expansion, we need to look at this holistically. First and foremost, we have to consider the name Bantu in and of itself, that it was a derogatory pejorative, that it was not a line of classification by any standard. It first and foremost was basically the equivalent of calling someone a Negro or colored, and that is just basically a clear fulfillment of the prophecy when it comes to the thought process of proverb and a byword. And the presence of the Bantu migration and expansion would really date back more towards contemporaneous to the movement of when the Titus destroyed Jerusalem in 70 of the Common Era, and then the subsequent Bar Kokhba revolt 65 years later around 135 of the Common Era. And that coupled with the behavior pattern of the House of Yehuda or the House of Yisrael, even though the House of Yisrael went into captivity through the sovereign of Ashur or Syria, which was discussed probably in detail around the second division of Kings or Malachim Bey, the 17th division, the 19th to the 25th verses of that, kind of give an outline of exactly where that migration went. But when Jerusalem was destroyed by the Roman Emperor Titus around the Common Era, there was an initial entire text, especially in Tanakh and the writings that led to the behavior pattern that whenever the children of Israel got into trouble, they ran into Mizraim. There's a symbolic representation there, but even if we looked at the historical context and then their migratory pattern, whenever there was trouble, whenever there was a pressure, they would run into Mitzrayim. So this was a common behavior pattern. During circum-Mediterranean culture, during the time of the historical entity in question, Yahushua ben Yosef, there was a running always into Mitzrayim. When the Emperor Titus destroyed Jerusalem in 70th Common Era, there was an initial run and escape to Mitzrayim because there was persecutions. There was killings, mass killings of the true Yahudim. Especially there was a couple with the Edomi or Edomite element that was already there, evidenced by the Heronian dynasty, which is basically Esau trying to get back in control of what he had lost in the first place. This caused for an element of great oppression to the Yahudim. And then the Yahudim ran into Mitzrayim. There is oral tradition that led to the fact that they worked in the salt mines. And from the salt mines, they migrated even further through the Saharan to the sub-Saharan areas of what is now modern-day Sudan. There is ancient cartography or even cartography of antiquity that lends that what it was originally called was Soyuda, and it stretched from the east to the west coast. It was almost like an empire. And I have been on the ground with some elders, some tribal elders when I was in Nairobi, Kenya. I was in one of the rural regions of Gilgit-Buru, and a pure Kikuyu Bantu elder in the community named Baba Kamani gave me some of the oral tradition that there was some type of disagreement. And what they did was they migrated south to the west and to the east. But there's a common denominator there. And that common denominator is showing up within the genetic landscape of things. But what I would like to do is approach this situation a little more holistically, not just looking at genetic markers, but epigenetic markers. And the epigenetic markers are etymological morphology, which is the morphing of the language. The language's transition during time. Being over in the East Africa region, especially Kiswahili is a Shemitic language, and there are evidences by a laundry list of these breed of Hebrew words that are there, that they speak in common everyday language within the language of Kiswahili. This is also prevalent on many of the other Bantu pockets all over the continent of Africa, or more appropriately called Al-Ibulan. Our dear predecessor and brother Doc Ben brought that to light as far as the proper name of it. There is a lot that needs to be brought to bear with the Bantu migration and expansion. One of the common denominators is the genetic markers, but there's also an epigenetic marker, which is their biopsychosocial acculturation as well as that. That deals with how their behavior patterns are, oral tradition, the rights of circumcision. Circumcision is a rite of passage. It's not even up for discussion amongst the Bantus. And there's a clear distinction between that biopsychosocial acculturation between the indigenous sons of Ham and then the migratory Johnny-come-lately sons of Shem.
So here you go. Here's a question for you, because there's this argument within the Afrocentric world of Black conscious community that the tribes in West Africa, such as the Ashanti, the Yoruba, the Fanti, the Akan, etc., the Igbo, that they're not Israel and that their traditions have nothing to do with Israel. What do you say to those that say that, and how can you prove that there is an Israelite element in West Africa?
I mean, there's a heavy Israelite element. The Irim, that's what the term epigenetic in question is. It has so much more to do with just genetics or genomic markering. It has everything to do with the behavior, the natural inherent in behavior, or even the peppering of some of that tradition within the new culture. That's what acculturation is. That is the migration or even the movement, not just of the people, but of their culture and the way that they present themselves in their language and in their behavior. So these need to be brought to bear for us to holistically consider that. And then the elements that must be brought to bear there are historiography and being able to trace the migratory patterns through historical evidences, whether it be archaeological or just in some of the historical tradition that is going to be brought to bear.
Absolutely. Okay. Because right now I just did a thesis on the Bantu expansion, and I got some brilliant results, and some not too many, but a few disagreements. What do you say about those that just say we just plain old Africans and that's just that, and that Israel is really a fictitious story and mythological characters such as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Moses, Solomon. A lot of people are saying that these guys, like you got brothers such as Brother Jabari, Garfield, different people that deal with that, you know, that black conscious / Afrocentric mode of thinking. Amin Ra Squad. What do you say up to those that say that these characters in the scripture didn't exist?
I would first say that is irresponsible scholarship on the face of it, because there are definite evidences to the existence of a particular people, especially even extending beyond the Yisrael, but extending on into to the bloodline, extending back to the father Abraham. You know what I'm saying? There's evidences there. You know what I'm saying? There's a contemporaneous nomenclature that bears to it. No press is bad press. There's a common denominator. If something good was said about them or something negative was said about them, the common denominator is that something was said about them, so they must exist nonetheless. And that's just a fundamental element in even critiquing the hypothesis that they didn't exist at all. I don't find that to be responsible scholarship on the face of it, and I think a more detailed discourse will be brought to bear on that better, especially dealing directly with the individuals that purport such a thought process.
Absolutely. And speaking of hypothesis, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the Hermetic hypothesis.
Well, pretty much.
Okay, could you give a brief synopsis, if you can, on that? Because I noticed that you have people now using that as a bungee cord to discredit Israel. What do you say? What is your understanding of the Hermetic hypothesis?
Well, not speaking directly to the Hermetic hypothesis, I can use that as just as one element in an entire grand scope. And if we look at that landscape and you know, in perspective, there's a lot of hypotheses that come to bear to try to discredit that. And I think that there might need to be a call for a real true symposium or consortium where we're able to deal with some of these situations, because a lot of it is just a priori conjecture, and it has no methodology that has any reproducibility of results in the methodology. The hypothesis is usually flawed on the face of it, and it needs to be really considered at a real academic level. When people purport things like this, I think it is a fundamental right, even within mankind, that we have a right to all of the true information in order to make informed decisions, or to even give consent to some things. So
Shalom Bahasham Yahweh Kudish Yisrael. This the tribal minister Nasik Charlandim Ben Ami Maltazar Yamben Yasha Allah Senior, the mighty Hebrew. I give all praise and honor to Yahweh, the supreme, intelligent, powerful one of our forefathers. Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, those striving for righteousness, stay all over the planet Earth. I say unto the family, Shalom Aleichem. Yeah, 2020, get your vision right. Garfield, Dagger Squad. This the mighty Hebrew Israelite Sovereign Nationalistic Research Team. We coming for you, myself. We got MOREH YIRME'YAH, Professor MOREH YIRME'YAH. You know what I mean? We got some others. You know what I mean? The great Dr. MOREH YOEL. We coming. We coming. This is a recent interview that I did directly from the land of Israel with Dr. MOREH YIRME'YAH ben YISRAEL, master historian of the Bantu expansion, proving that the Israelites peep the parenthetical. I told you, no more disrespect to the children of Israel. We covering the sever the dome. Symbolically, of course. Hallelujah. Hebrew Israelite, sovereign nationalism rising worldwide.
There's probably a renewed call for a symposium or consortium of something so that we can deal with some of these issues and deal with them at a collegiate level. Would you not agree with me?
I agree with you 100%.
What you thought, Large, our L Boogie, I was going to let it slide? What's going on? Canal Walk, all those watching. That's Dr. MOREH YIRME'YAH ben YISRAEL, powerful historian, come out of the School of the Prophets Institute, Timon, Israel, Northeastern Africa. We ain't playing. He's a part of the mighty Hebrew Israelite Sovereign Nationalistic Research Team, as well as a Hebrew Israelite Sovereign Nationalist himself. Told you my team ain't playing no games. Hebrew Israelite Sovereign Nationalism rising worldwide.
also, there's something that just recently came out within the last 6 months to a year since you've been going in Nairobi. You have a couple of people that are said Native American descent, said Hispanic descent, that broke off from a lot of the One West camps, mainly IUIC and another camp that
Also, and by the way, we coming at you too, ancient watchmen. It's time to put fake social media scholarship and put that shit on the shelf. Now, we watched long enough this charade. Now we, the real scholars of Israel, coming at y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
not connected to the One West camps known as Torah Knights. And what they do is they teach that the blacks in America, the so-called blacks in America, are in fact the cursed seed of Canaan, and that the Hispanics, natives, gypsies, and Filipinos are the original Israelites. And we know, dealing with the haplo groups or haplotypes, they don't share the same types, even to the, like for instance, a lot of the Native American tribes over here are being recognized today as being of Mongolian origin by their Q haplotype. What do you, or haplotype, excuse me, what do you say about this new wave of people that are trying to discredit so-called African Americans in America, saying that we're not Israel, but we're the cursed seed of Canaan? What do you say about that?
In a nutshell, this just even more lens to, or further lens to, the irresponsible scholarship that comes out of things. One man has 12 sons; they will all have the same Y chromosome. And you know what I'm saying? That's just basic genomic, genome 101. One man has 12 sons; they will all have the same Y chromosome. Then, as we spread, let's say the thought process a little bit further, as far as further descendants, we would have to look at some of the factors that would come into play with migratory groups and how long did they stay together. There's a lot that has to be brought to bear, so we can't just blanket say, hey, listen, these are the. So what does that marker look like? Brother, what does the line of Canaan, what does that look like? Do we have any proper testing for that? So how can we just come to such a priori, supposition with that, and we don't have anything to test it by? That's just irresponsible on the face of it. It's very irresponsible on the face of it.
And they never took any form of DNA from so-called African Americans and put it in a fixed element by the way of geneticists to come up with this idea, as well as dealing with any type of historical backing, anthropological backing, archaeological backing, paleontological backing. It's like you said, it's just a blanket statement. I mean, there's a couple. No, go ahead.
It's supposition, and it's irresponsible on the face of it, because you gave us nothing to work with within the methodology. The difference between hypothesis and methodology will always be the reproducibility of results. So if your situation does not have reproducibility of results, it is just conjecture and it's just thought process. Wow. And it's irresponsible on the face of it when you purport it to be methodology. So we're stemming beyond the actual science, Aki. We're dealing in just the integrity.
Okay, I got a couple more questions for you. I can't just let you go like that, man. Because you got thousands of people listening right now, but not right now. But when they go up live, people going to listen, because after I get off the phone with you, I'm going to set up my live. And I'm going to let the people hear this, because they need scholarship, because that's one of the major problems within the nation of Israel right now. Is a lack of academia. Everything is basically belief. But I want to jump real quick on the geopolitical scene right now. As you know, I've been moving real tight with the Shot Greer. He's been declared prime minister. Your understanding in which you view me pushing Hebrew Israelite sovereign nationalism, what do you think that it will take in 2019 for the children of Israel to consolidate as a nation? And how can all this be tied in by the way of Hebrew Israelite sovereign nationalism?
Well, first and foremost, there has to be an infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we get into geopolitical, confrontational, and economic nuance, there has to be a pure infrastructure. We may be able to borrow from the pages of things, but I think our foundational element, especially as the people that we are, is a Torah-based infrastructure.
Okay.
And the civil laws provide a lot of thought processes. As a matter of fact, subsequent laws, even the laws of the land of translates into common law, which then translates into, some of the other precedences that have been used to shape the legal system here where we are. I believe that we as a people, first and foremost, need to have a Torah-based foundation and infrastructure to what a governmental system would look like in the first place. And then, in addition to that, if we understand the true thought process, our first and the greatest responsibility we have is to love the Most High Yahweh Elohim Siva'o with everything that's in us. But then the next thing is how we deal with our fellow man. You know what I'm saying? And especially our brothers. So I think that with a brotherhood and sisterhood type of initiative and mentality, with even building things where there's no big I's and little U's, where one particular organizational infrastructure is trying to become proprietary to the Yisrael of Yahweh Elohim. The Yisrael of Yahweh Elohim is not proprietary to any one governmental infrastructure. It is the Yisrael of Yahweh Elohim, and there is a covenant, and there is Torah. There are laws, statutes, and judgments and guidelines that govern that, and that any infrastructure outside of that is to able to Yahweh. It's not going to work. I think that individuals that maybe start for the right motives, but then they get into a tyrannical dictatorial thought process where they want to control and want to make the Yisrael of Yahweh Elohim proprietary to them. That's not going to work. I think that there has to be a unification. There's going to be two sticks that come back together, as the word tells us about. And we know that's the house of Yehuda and the house of Yisrael. But if each one of those sides of the sticks are splintered in and of themselves, how shall we ever even have two sticks to have one stick again? Does that make sense?
Perfect. And speaking of these two sticks where you outline in Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, the 10 tribes of Israel, what is your take on where they went? You have different schools of thought. A lot of the, I call them alphabet camps, but a lot of the One West camps, they teach that the North American, South American, Central American Indians are the direct 10 tribes of Israel. You have those in Africa right now that's saying that the 10 tribes went into Africa. What is your intake of the dispersal of the 10 tribes of Israel, or the northern kingdom of Israel? Because it's evident that the southern kingdom went deeper into the south, meaning deeper into Eastern Africa, Western Africa, Southern Africa, and Central Africa, and then eventually to North America and the Caribbean islands, etc. Your understanding, where did 10 tribes go?
That's a thought that does also bear heavy scrutiny and consideration. We're trying to figure that out. We have some context clues and historical critical analysis that can be brought to bear directly within the writings and within the Ketuvim, and we can utilize that to maybe help give us an initial thought process on